In 1927, the most influential psychologist who ever lived made a bold prediction. Sigmund Freud, the man who mapped the unconscious mind, looked at religion and declared, "This will not last. Science is advancing. Human beings are maturing. The illusion will dissolve." At the time, it sounded inevitable. Physics was decoding matter. Biology was decoding life. Psychology was decoding the human mind. So why would modern humanity keep believing in a cosmic God? Today we carry supercomputers in our pockets. We edit genes. We have AI that outperforms human experts across virtually every measurable domain. And yet, religion has not disappeared. Globally, the vast majority of people still identify with a religious belief system. In many regions, religious populations are growing. Secular societies remain statistical exceptions, not the global direction. So what happened? How did one of history's most penetrating minds so completely misread the future of belief? And what does it reveal about human psychology that no amount of science or rational argument has loosened religion's grip on the human soul? That is what we are exploring today. Which countries do you think are genuinely secular? Drop them in the comments right now. To understand why Freud was wrong, we first need to understand why he seemed so right. Freud described religion as a defense mechanism, not as an insult, but as a clinical observation. He never called religious people unintelligent. He called them human. And being human means being deeply, inescapably vulnerable. We do not choose to be born. Suffering feels random. We lose the people we love. We face death. The universe offers no guarantee of fairness. These realities are psychologically overwhelming. So the mind constructs a protective framework, a guiding cosmic father figure, a moral order that ensures justice, a narrative that gives suffering meaning, an afterlife that neutralizes death. Religion was emotional stabilization on a civilizational scale. Freud believed maturity reduces dependence on defense mechanisms. A child fears the dark. Turn on the lights, the fear dissolves. He assumed belief would follow the same path. Logical. Coherent. But fundamentally incomplete. Because Freud misidentified what religion was actually doing. Here is the core of Freud's error. He assumed religion competed with science, answering factual questions like, why does lightning strike? How did the universe begin? On those questions, science wins decisively. But religion was never primarily competing there. The questions religion answers are existential, not empirical. Why am I here? Does my life have meaning? How do I face mortality without being paralyzed by it? Is there any justice in a world where good people suffer? Science can explain the biological process of death. It cannot tell you how to emotionally confront it. Science can describe grief. It cannot give grief a purpose. Religion operates in the realm of meaning. And meaning is not secondary to human psychology, it is absolutely central. This is the category mistake Freud never corrected. And it explains everything that followed. What existential question do you find hardest to answer without belief? Leave it below, I genuinely want to know. Viktor Frankl, who survived World War II concentration camps, built his therapeutic philosophy around one devastating observation: human beings can endure almost any suffering if they believe it has meaning. Frankl watched people under identical conditions. Some collapsed. Others remained resilient. The variable was not physical strength. It was meaning. Religion offers exactly that. Your pain is not random. Your struggle transforms you. Loss is not the end. The metaphysical truth of these claims can be debated. Their psychological function cannot. They work. And here is the insight that dismantles Freud's prediction entirely: increasing knowledge does not eliminate the need for meaning. You can understand quantum physics and still feel completely empty. You can map the human genome and still feel directionless. Information and meaning are not the same thing. Without meaning, human beings do not become rational. They become lost. Researcher Andrew Newberg, working in the field now called neurotheology, studied brain activity during deep prayer and meditation across cultures. During peak spiritual experiences, the prefrontal cortex becomes highly active. The parietal lobe, which defines the boundary between self and world, shows reduced activity. People consistently report unity, transcendence, dissolution of ego. These neurological patterns appear across completely separate cultures, across thousands of years of human history. Here is the question neuroscience cannot answer: is the brain generating a convincing internal fiction? Or is the human mind structured to perceive something that ordinary consciousness cannot reach? Freud assumed the first. Neuroscience refuses to confirm it. Religious experiences are among the most neurologically consistent states the human brain produces. That demands explanation, not dismissal. Religion appears in every documented human culture. Every single one. Without exception. If religious belief were a cognitive error that reduced survival, natural selection would have eliminated it. That is how evolution works. Costly errors disappear. Instead, belief persisted universally because it provided something evolution powerfully rewards: collective cohesion. Groups with shared belief systems cooperate more effectively, sacrifice more readily, and maintain social order with less friction. An all-seeing God regulates behavior even when no one is watching. Religion was not a flaw in human cognition. It was a feature. A spectacularly successful feature that helped our species build civilizations. This does not prove religious claims are true. But it definitively explains why they are durable. Sociologist Emil Durkheim confirmed what history repeatedly shows: the sacred cannot be eliminated from human societies. It can only be relocated. When traditional religion declines, the sacred migrates to nation, to political ideology, to identity, to cultural movements. The impulse toward transcendence does not dissolve. It reattaches to a new object. Freud believed removing religion would produce a purely rational society. History shows meaning structures reorganize, not disappear. And when the sacred attaches to political ideologies, the results are often far more dangerous than the religion they replaced. The question is never whether human beings will have something sacred. The question is what they make sacred, and whether that object deserves the devotion it receives. Freud was genuinely brilliant. His mapping of the unconscious permanently transformed psychology and behavioral science. But his prediction failed. Not because he thought too little. Because he underestimated the depth of what he was looking at. He thought religion was a symptom, a cognitive error that would self-correct as intelligence increased. It turns out religion is closer to a load-bearing wall in the architecture of human civilization. You cannot remove it without the structure collapsing, unless you have something equally strong to replace it first. We have not found that replacement yet. Mortality remains. Suffering remains. The desire for God, for transcendence, for meaning, remains. And as long as those realities exist, systems that respond to them will exist. So here is the real question: is there anything that could genuinely replace what religion does, not just intellectually, but emotionally, socially, existentially, all at once? Leave your answer in the comments. This is exactly the conversation this channel exists for. Subscribe if you want content that takes the biggest questions in psychology, philosophy, and human nature seriously, and refuses easy answers. Because the question of why religion never dies is ultimately a question about what human beings are. And what we cannot live without.